Hi, it's Peter again from Romford Film Festival. I'm here with a very good friend of the festival, Nicole Pott, who is the producer and director of Asphyxiate.
I am.
Nicole, thank you so much for joining me again.
Hey, it's great to be here.
So last year you were here with Powerless,
Yep.
which won Best Short Film.
I did.
And you're back again. So
I am.
We must be doing something right.
Romford is probably my favourite film festival of the UK. Of the UK, like I've been to loads abroad. I haven't. But yeah, I loved it last year and I knew I wanted to return this year. So yeah, it was great to submit Asphyxiate and hopefully submit more in the future.
Yeah, we really hope you do. So Asphyxiate, tell us about the premise of the film. You're not the writer this time, but tell us about what the story's about.
So it follows the journey of a woman who is being gaslighted by her boyfriend, and it starts from when they meet throughout to what we would hope to be the end. And it's almost quite experimental, if you say, because of the way it's edited together. It's all through memory. So we drop in at certain points and then we come out at certain points. We don't necessarily see the whole of that memory. And it's written by Michaela. I'm sure we'll talk about her in a minute.
Yep.
And it's actually written from her own experience. It's a complete true story about what happened to her and her ex-boyfriend. And for her it was the catharsis, is that the right word?
Cathartic, yeah.
The cathartic, there we are, to write it. And then obviously she got in contact with me and I've directed it.
Yeah, so I was going to ask actually, how did you first meet Michaela?
Oh, we met years ago on another film, and then I was making films and I was trying to get my name out there. At the time I was living in Manchester, now I live in London. Very new to London. And she got in contact with me and asked me to read her script.
Right.
And I did, I read the script. I asked her to go back and take about 8 pages out, because it was about 25 pages at the time.
Right.
And I didn't want to be directing pieces that were too long, because otherwise we might not be able to get funding. We didn't get funding in the end anyway, but it's obviously better at the length it is. So yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. So when we had the script, did you is that what you shot, or did you have to take anything out, or is that the final? What we see, is that the final?
So Michaela had written a poem which would be almost like a monologue, which would go over certain segments. Originally, the start of it was she was sat at a mirror, and then we would zoom in on this mirror, and then we would hear this monologue. But after, when we were working through it, I did say to her, like, I just don't think we need this. It's a nice poem, but you don't need it because of the content that's on the film. Luckily, Michaela agreed with that. Obviously, down the line, when we got to post-production and she saw the film, she went, yeah, I completely understand that we don't need it. Okay. And obviously, that's a post-production thing anyway, so we could have just recorded it and put it in. I think what else? So in replacement to the mirror scene, obviously came the bath sequence. I can't for the life of me remember why the conversation came up, but I think I was a bit obsessed with the idea of someone drowning in their own, it's obviously metaphorical, drowning in their own thoughts and this situation. And so I think I suggested the idea, and we both worked on how that would work within the story. And obviously I'm sure we might talk about it, it's partly in a swimming pool and then partly in a bath at the start. So it was like a lot of figuring out how we were going to do that on a low budget, because hiring a water tank, we looked at that, it was going to cost us like £1,500 to do, and we didn't have that kind of money. Okay. Just trying to think what else. I think there's probably, the monologue at the end, that wasn't in there until, before we shot it, it was written, but it was a suggestion, and in the end it was what Michaela felt like was right to put into the film.
The bath sequence especially is very, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Was Michaela, did she always have in mind that she was going to play the lead?
Yes, I think so, yeah. And I'm not saying she won't write an act again, but I think she found it quite traumatic, but not in a bad way. I think it like I said, it's cathartic, but I think she kind of felt it affected her again after the filming had been complete.
Right,
So I don't know if she'd ever do anything that's big and out there like that, but I think she'll probably act and write again.
Yeah, I mean, she's terrific. We've nominated her for Best Actress, and we've also nominated Anthony Quinlan for Best Actor.
Yeah.
When did he join the project, or how did you get in touch with him?
So he came as a suggestion through Michaela, because Michaela's friend knew him, and he read the script and he really liked it. So Michaela asked whether, he would be, whether I'd be happy, and I said yeah at the time. That, it's a two-person piece, and obviously for me, I wanted Michaela to be happy as well with who the person playing him would be, and he was incredible. They both worked so well together. And he was asking Michaela all the questions, what about this, what happened here, what would he have done, just so that he can get right into that character, because he is awful on screen. We see a character that, well, I personally don't like him from the start, but obviously we see this confident woman who's destroyed through
gradually over
so
it must have been very important for her to be very comfortable with who she was playing opposite, especially such a person.
100%. And they got on really well, so that's what's helped it.
Definitely. So how long did the film take to shoot?
I think it was, I want to say 4 days, maybe 3 days, plus another day when we had to come back a few months later to do the water sequence. Okay. Because we ended up doing that in my local leisure centre.
Right, in a swimming pool, was it?
In a swimming pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After hours or just in the middle of?
It was after hours, because it was night time, and it was like 50 quid to hire it, which is so low. Yeah. And I think the reason why I got it is because I had swimming lessons there when I was a kid, so I was like, excuse me, and they were like, that's fine. So we did, and it was great. It was interesting because Michaela doesn't like water, doesn't like swimming, so it was quite funny filming in the deep end and her trying to jump in, and she's also wearing this nightgown, so she's there trying to keep that down there and all that, and falling back, and we're trying to do it in slow-mo and getting the camera in the water, which obviously the camera's not in the water, it's in a bag, but it's really it was really fun to film the water sequences.
So you said, you tried to raise the money and you didn't really raise the money. I mean, how did you go about raising the money?
We did a crowdfunder eventually, and we got, I want to say $2,000, maybe a little less. I think about $2,000. Yeah. Can't remember. Sorry, that's so long ago. We $2,000, and then myself and Michaela have paid for a lot on top of that as well. Like festivals and all that thing.
So, did you have any other films in mind when you made this film, or did you just go in cold? How did you approach it? Because it's obviously been.
That is a really good question.
Yeah, there are some films on the subject of gaslighting, some quite famous ones, but
I don't think I watched any gaslighting
not
films.
Consciously,
I think I just looked at images.
Okay.
I think I was trying to go with the idea of claustrophobia and asphyxiation, obviously, hence the name Asphyxiate. Yep. And I think I was just doing a lot of Googling of, I'm trying to think back to my, not a pitch deck, but like my mood board. But there was a lot of kind of images of drowning and stuff like that we were going to go for, and I worked with Hamish, who is our cinematographer, to create this world, this look of, this couple, how they live, where they live, what they wear, and all sorts of stuff that kind of, come in with this colour scheme and this feeling of, like I said, asphyxiation. Yeah.
Do you use a mood board for every film you make?
I do.
You do, yeah.
I do a pitch deck a lot of times now as well. I love them. I actually will spend hours doing them. Right. So obviously, if anyone's watching this now and needs a director, I will pitch.
So apart from the swimming pool bit which we've discussed, were there any other really big challenges on set? Or in post, I guess.
The sex scene was quite interesting, because we had to do a closed set for that, and obviously it's violent, so there's a lot involved in that. It's not rape. It's that sequence at the start of the film is, showcasing the pleasure of the relationship, the good side, that side of the relationship, and then how that quickly turns, and that was very very interesting to do. it's the first time I'd ever done a scene like that before. So now, if I was ever going to do a sexual sequence again, definitely get an intimacy coordinator just to be there to coordinate that, because I found it very challenging as a director.
Yeah.
But we felt like it needed to be there for kind of the story purposes to showcase these two.
Definitely, yeah. So in terms of the festival run, have you shown it anywhere physically yet, or?
I think you're the first one.
Right.
Yeah, I think we started at the British Independent Film Festival last year. And we've been on and off at festivals, but non-live, and then we had a massive period of like nothing, and then this last month we've had a lot of selections come through, which has been great, and obviously now we're here, and I'm very nervous about seeing it on the screen, but also really excited at the same time.
Yeah, great. Got a good crowd for it tonight as well. So.
I know, yeah. Well, I might have to see my outfit, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I am.
Lots of people are. Lots of people and regulars are interested to see your next film after last year's.
I did get
Powerless,
contacted by somebody actually who asked about the film, and I was like, yeah, it's on. They said, you can't turn up, but yeah, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. People know my film from last year.
Yeah, it was a big hit. Yeah. So next projects for you. What have you been working on? What are you going to be working on that you can tell us?
I'm trying to think like what I said last year on this interview. We'll have to do like a comparison.
Yeah.
So I have just finished a film called Wonderland.
Okay.
And it was originally called Alice, so I probably did mention that one last year.
Right.
We filmed that in February, and that's in post-production now. I literally just sat at the table at dinner and just watched the new cut because I just received it through.
Oh, great.
And then Forever 27, which we filmed in the nightclub, which is literally behind this door
just
here.
Behind me.
Yeah, and this is our green room, which is also in post-production. And then I've got a film. Sorry, I'm not going to give my whole filmography. Is that the word? I can't remember the word on it. I've got a film that's going to go in for BFI funding next round with a producer, which is great, and I've worked with a writer on that, which is called 2005. You might guess it's set in 2005.
Yep.
And then my feature, Obsession, which is just ticking along slowly in the background and waiting for funding at the moment. And that's about it. Yeah.
Well, last year I believe you and I had a conversation in a pub, and we spoke about a samurai film that you were.
Oh yeah.
That you teased, and I was like, I want to see this.
Oh my god.
Is there any? Please tell me you've done something about this.
I haven't, and I literally have. Like, I'm trying to write 2 novels at the moment. Obviously, try and not do them at the same time. And now that you've triggered that, I think that I might start. No, not at the same time. I need to start like prioritising stuff. Yeah. Maybe down the line, in about 20 years' time, when Hollywood is knocking at my door, like I've got this samurai movie.
Yes, please.
And I'll be like, you're invited on set. You can come and be my advisor on set of how it all works because you know everything about samurai.
Yeah. I mean, that really intrigued me, and I do want to see that. But I want to see everything you make, and we'll see you next year because I know you'll be here again.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be submitting another, maybe 2 films next year.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for joining me again.
Thanks very much for having me.